over the last couple of years, I've kind of put the story together about my mom because I didn't know hardly anything about her at all. And it was really sad what I discovered about her life.
Mm.
And really gave me some empathy for sure for her because both my parents were raised in very abusive homes. My father left home when he was 14 because his father was so abusive. Um, and so, but I didn't really know my mom's history, and it absolutely took my breath away when I first realized the whole kind of story.
Mm.
And then
Mhm.
it brought tears to my eyes, and I cried for her. And certainly have empathy and understanding. And what that understanding helped me to realize is that, and this sounds kind of crazy because all my life I heard, oh, the abuse was not your fault, it wasn't your fault, but I finally got it. It really
Mm.
wasn't my fault. That helped me really
Mm.
understand why it was happening.
That's profound, and I think it's such an important part of the healing journey when you can arrive at that understanding, when you can feel empathy, when you can realize it wasn't your fault. You
Hmm.
know, children conclude that it's their fault,
Absolutely.
that they deserve what they're receiving. And it's obviously it isn't.
Right. You just got to get it from here to here, to
Yeah.
really understand it. And it was a big aha moment for me. And it was empowering as well, and it kind of it was it once I realized that, it kind of opened the door to a lot of stuff for me, a lot more healing, and a lot more understanding.
And I think it's so important in our world today to understand that just about every major problem we face has its roots in trauma of one
Hmm.
kind or another, whether
Yeah.
we're talking about chronic illness, whether we're talking about violence, addictions, anxiety, depression, mental health issues, stupid politics.
Yeah. Hmm.
All of that is rooted in trauma.
Hmm.
And all too often people believe they had a quote unquote normal household without any trauma, even though one parent may have been an alcoholic,
Hmm.
or their parents didn't like each other very much, or that there was tension always in the air.
Hmm.
You can go on
Yeah.
to these examples of what would be traumatic for a
Right.
child,
Right.
what would keep them from filling out their resources and capacities. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard and it made me think about, people don't realize that what trauma can be, right, for a child. And you don't even like it could be a parent is sick, it could be a brother or a sibling is sick, and has health issues. It can be the violence, it can be so much, and it has
So
a
much.
traumatic effect. And you can't expect a child to understand that. Us as adults have a hard time wrapping our head around some of this stuff, right?
Right, exactly.
Excuse me. And trying to understand. And so we can't expect a child to at all. And when a child isn't supported and supported through that trauma, because I've had guests on here who's had wonderful support system that helped them through it, and they came out of it really well, and it didn't have a profound effect for them. But for those of us who didn't have that, we come to conclusions in our head that are so far from the truth, but it becomes our truth.
Exactly. And there's one more thing, that the reason I titled my book, Healing the Wounds of Childhood and Culture, is that I believe that even in fine homes where there isn't conflict, where there isn't violence, where there's attention and care, we live in a culture that doesn't recognize the supremacy of connection
Mhm.
as an human requirement. We put so much emphasis on achievement, on
Mhm.
production, that we don't realize that being and connection to ourselves, our
Yes.
bodies, nature, each other, those,
Mhm.
the universe, if you will,
Mhm.
that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Those,
Put the phone
isn't it?
down too, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Put the phone down as well, right?
Yeah,
Put the
yeah,
phone down. Have dinner time with your family, with each
yeah,
other.
yeah.